Hi, it's Robert, and this week I want to talk about why theme park fans are making a mistake when they don't pay attention to what's happening in Dubai. Look, I get it. Many of you are watching from the United States, and you might think, hey, I can't afford to fly halfway across the world to visit the parks in Dubai. Or you might be thinking, Middle East? Forget it, I'm not going there. Fine. But even if you never get to Dubai, for whatever reason, if you're a theme park fan who likes to follow this business, and because you're watching here, I'm going to assume you are, you really should be paying attention to what's happening in Dubai right now. And here's why. Because Dubai is trying to disrupt the theme park business. And if it succeeds, that's going to affect what you see in Orlando. It's going to affect what you see in Southern California, and might even end up affecting what you see at the regional parks around the country. A couple of months ago, there were 5 theme park resorts in the world with multiple gates. I'm talking major theme parks here, not water parks and the like. There's Universal in Orlando, Disney in Universal, Disney in California, in Tokyo, and in Paris. 5. That's it. But now, today, there are 6 multi-gate theme park resorts in the world, as Dubai Parks and Resorts has joined the Disney and Universal resorts. And in a few years, there'll be 7 when IMG Worlds in Dubai completes its second gate. Now, while IMG Worlds is working on its, Dubai Parks and Resorts, which is a separate resort up the road from IMG Worlds, by then they'll completed their 4th gate, a Six Flags Dubai. And with that, Dubai Parks and Resorts will be tied with Walt Disney World as the only 4-gate theme park resorts in the world. I think you can agree that's a big deal. Now, it's also a big deal because people in the tourism industry in Dubai are gunning for Orlando, and they're not keeping that a secret. I just flew back from Dubai, but while I was on the flight over there, I was listening to a podcast with Gerald Lawless, who ran Dubai's biggest hotel group for 18 years. And he made explicit that Dubai's goal is to become the Orlando of the Middle East. The Dubai government is sending 10 of its best students every year to the University of Central Florida to study theme park management. And investment companies, backed by the Dubai government, they're hiring up every major themed entertainment design firm in the United States, Canada, and Europe to work on projects in the Emirate. Now, these are people who've worked on Disney and Universal attractions in the past. They know how to build world-class themed entertainment. Okay, so what? Again, Americans still aren't going to Dubai. I get that. But millions of Europeans who visit Orlando, well, for them, Dubai is closer. It's a shorter flight, fewer time zones away, and getting through customs in Dubai can be a lot easier than trying to get into the United States. Once Dubai and Abu Dhabi together have more theme parks than Orlando does, and that is going to happen soon, I think a lot of Europeans are going to take a hard look at visiting the United Arab Emirates, maybe perhaps instead of Florida. And that's going to cause disruption in the industry. And on the business side, Dubai is going to be hiring up all of those designers and attraction builders that are supplying parks around the world. More disruption. Now, ultimately, of course, people want to visit good parks. So the question is, are these new parks in Dubai any good? This week, I posted my reviews of the Motion Gate Dubai and Bollywood Parks Dubai theme parks. Motion Gate's a work in progress with about 2/3 of the attractions not yet open, but Bollywood's the real deal. It's a small but very well executed park that's a better half-day park right now than I think Disney's Hollywood Studios is. Let's try and put this in more perspective. Traditionally, the Disney parks have stood alone in what I consider Tier 1 of theme parks, in terms of overall capital quality and customer service. The Universal parks were in Tier 2, along with SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, and maybe Knott's Berry Farm. The attractions were still good, but the quality of the finishes overall and the ride experiences weren't on the same level as Disney. The rest of Cedar Fair and Six Flags I'd put in Tier 3. Now, you can argue among yourselves where those various parks rank there, but clearly they haven't been as good for the non-coaster attractions as the Tier 1 and 2 parks. Now, all this has been changing in the last decade. With the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Universal's now making a charge up to Tier 1, even as maybe Disney's let that top tier slip a little bit with the original California Adventure, Hong Kong Disneyland, and Walt Disney Studios Paris. Disney's clearly getting back on its game now, but Universal's also continuing to step up. It not only has all that cash it's made off of Potter, it's got the deep pockets of a relatively new corporate owner in Comcast, which has a commitment to investing in theme parks. Now, at the same time, SeaWorld and Busch Gardens have been slipping some, as after Anheuser-Busch spun off those parks when it was taken over by InBev. And Cedar Fair and Six Flags are kind of making little plays here and there to try and step up. So maybe we should put all of those parks in a new, say, Tier 2.5. But that leaves the original Tier 2 basically empty, save for maybe Knott's Berry Farm. And it's into that empty Tier 2 that the Dubai Parks and Resorts are moving in. Motion Gate reminds me of a pre-Potter Universal Studios Florida, which, especially with the opening, if you remember, when Universal Studios Florida opened in 1990, about 2/3 of its attractions didn't work either. But Bollywood reminds me of a pre-Potter Islands of Adventure. The groundwork is there for a move up to Tier 1 should Dubai Parks get the capital and the consumer demand to move up the way that Universal ultimately did. But it's starting in that Tier 2, and I think it has to. Look, Dubai could afford to spend $6 billion on a single theme park the way Disney did in Shanghai. But instead, it spent about half that on 3 parks. First, one park wasn't going to get it done for Dubai. It wasn't enough to have the critical mass to bring theme park fans to the Middle East. It needed multiple gates, which is why Dubai Parks and Resorts was the first resort ever to open with multiple theme parks. Second, Dubai, like most nations in the Middle East, let's face it, they made the money in oil, but the people running the emirate aren't in the business of squandering that windfall. They've expanded with smart investments in a variety of industries, including tourism. And so I think they have the wisdom to know that building 3 brand new Tokyo Disney Sea parks wouldn't have worked. Not for them. Dubai is a top tourist destination, but not even it is ready for the crowds that 3 Tier 1 theme parks would have brought into the market. It doesn't have the excess hotel capacity at this point. It doesn't have the transportation infrastructure. And most importantly, it doesn't have what we call that soft capital of tens of thousands of potential employees who could be trained at the highest level of customer service to staff a resort that 3 Disney Sea level parks would attract. To use a sports analogy, no one wins the World Cup the first year they start playing soccer. So Dubai Parks needed to start smaller, to gain experience, to learn what the specific visitors to Dubai wanted in a theme park, to learn what they loved, what they wanted to see, and what they wanted to skip. You can benchmark your new project against these other parks in other markets, and they did. But until you learn what your specific visitors want, those are all just educated guesses for a development. Dubai Parks needs the experience so it can develop its theme parks in the specific way that its visitors will want to see them grow. I mean, that's how Universal did it, that's how Disney did it, and ultimately that's how Dubai's got to do it too. Like I said, having been there, I wouldn't bet against them at this point, and I certainly wouldn't ignore them, and neither should you. It's exciting to watch new parks be built, and it'll be exciting to watch them grow and develop over the years. So I hope you'll join me, and we can watch what's happening in Dubai together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the web at themeparkinsider.com.